Hello and welcome again to another episode of the Vocalist Talks. So tonight is gonna be a bit different from what we are doing before, because instead of the contestants, we have our judges
Here.
from the elimination round. Yeah, so introducing our judges, please.
Judge
Dave.
Josh and Judge Shiva. Apparently, Judge Palm B, no? Yeah, Palm B cannot make it.
He's out of town.
Yes. We're
Nah.
trying to get hold of Palm A, but
I wanted to try that juice. I have to wait, but
Anyway, so do we start talking or do you want to introduce something? Oh, of course.
yeah, I would like to ask the judges to say something about themselves, like so that the viewers can know more about you. Yeah.
my name is Josh. So I just got to Abu Dhabi 2-3 months ago, and really liking it. Moved here with my family. I'm a musician who lived most of my life in Houston, Texas. I went to school in Miami and studied jazz, but my background is pretty diverse. So I grew up playing rock and blues like every guitar player should or does. But then I ended up studying jazz in college and beyond, and I've kind of gone on to do a lot of different projects, either arranging, composing, producing, and I'm just kind of new to the scene here and checking everything out and getting to meet really cool people, and kind of stumbled upon this event and feel very lucky and blessed to do so. And got to judge around, and I'm impressed with the vocal talent here. So a lot of people who can sing better than me, so that's good for them. And yeah, it's just great to be here.
Right.
Right.
That's
Oh,
great.
Judge Shiva.
My name is Shiva Kojaki. I was born and raised in Abu Dhabi, and I've pretty much lived here all my life. And I joined the Barco Studio, which is a multimedia hub production house, and we specialize in recording music. And that's sort of been not my first introduction, but my main introduction into the world of artists and musicians. And I met these lovely people, 2 months ago? And we've connected so much, and I've been very lucky to be part of the vocalist competition because, oh my gosh, the talent and the singers just blow my mind. And I'm very happy to be here tonight.
All right.
See, and suddenly it went up 86 viewers.
Yes. So shout
from the
out to
two
our
viewers.
86 from 2 viewers. Yeah.
Better posture.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with the question.
Yes.
Okay, who'll do the honors? You, Saray, or me?
Okay, I'll do the honors. So we have a line of questions here about the vocalists and how do you decide on the judging and all that. So the first one would be, what qualities do you look for in a great vocalist aside from just technical ability? Is there something specific that you're looking for?
For me, the number one thing is I want to see the singer having fun. Like they're on that stage and they want to enjoy themselves. And if they have a connection with the song and they're comfortable, that's, apart from amazing technicals, that really comes across.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would also say kind of uniqueness / creativity for me. So I don't want to say wherever you go, but you hear a lot of great vocalists, around the world, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. But you get to a certain level, there's people who can hit the notes and kind of understand like what key they're in and what scale they're in. So there has to be something a little bit deeper for me. So like maybe you can hear they have a personal connection, or maybe they do a song like you've never heard them do that way. Just something that kind of makes them memorable and something to help them stick out. Because again, on any instrument, you get to a point where there are a lot of people at a professional level, so you just want to hear something that kind of differentiates them a little bit from the others.
But how do you differentiate the technically perfect pitch performance than the ones that can move you, that raw talent that they have?
Yeah, I mean, the technical stuff is certainly easier to judge in the sense that I can be like, okay, their pitch is not 100%, or okay, this wasn't a good key for them, things like that. The creative side is definitely more subjective, which is why music is great,
Yeah.
It's not I love sports, but it's not a sport. So at the end of the day, if the four of us here, a singer, we might have different opinions on how they interpreted something, and it might move me and not move you. So that's definitely one of the challenges in these judging shows, is you just have to kind of go with your gut. Like for me, when you know. It's like if I hear someone that just seems to connect, I can't always explain why, but I'm like, man, something they did like moved me. But you're right. It's a little hard to put it to paper at times.
Yeah, very spot on from Josh. Like you
And
see.
how about the opinion of Miss Judge Shiva?
Say that again?
Miss or Judge? Judge Shiva.
You can call me Shiva. For me, it's they just grab your attention. You can't look away, and it's a feeling. When that feeling comes, you just can't look away. They grab your attention, and you just want to be absorbed. That's how you know.
Spot on also. Sounds like a judge.
Yes.
Anyway, how about you, Sir Ray? Do you have any question for them?
Okay, so my question is, what role does stage presence play in a singer's overall performance? Can it make or break a contestant, like overall?
Absolutely. Stage presence for me is a big part. I want the singer to own the stage. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be confident. They're having fun. They can be technically flawless, but if they're not in that place where they're like moving and commanding the space, it does lower the experience. So for me, stage presence is a big part of the experience for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think this kind of thing is a little more challenging because a lot of the times if you see a singer, they're with a band or maybe at least a few musicians, and here it's just them on the stage. So there's nothing else to look at, which is more challenging. Like if you're watching a band play, the singer, of course, their stage presence always matters. But, you know, maybe you're like, all of a sudden the drummer does a cool fill. So you're watching the drummer. And then all of a sudden the guitar player starts shredding or whatever. So your eyes are kind of moving around. But this is difficult because it's, you know, one person. So it's like a monologue or a musical theater performance where it's just the one, you know, actor on stage. So I think that's a challenge the contestants have to do. And like for me, I'm used to focusing more on the musical side because that's my background. But as you grow older and see things like stage presence is obviously a thing. And when you perform live, a lot of people in the audience aren't going to know if maybe you were a little flat on a note or certain stuff like that. But they're going to know if it was boring to watch.
Right.
So it's just something that, you know, it's a part of the performance for sure. And it matters.
Okay, shout out to 146 viewers.
Okay, we have 146 viewers. Yeah, adding to that, because, you know, whenever I see music competition or singing competition where there's no band, there's no band, and then you know the song, and then the solo will come in, like guitar solo or sax solo, and what's the singer gonna do? Like,
It's just stand there.
yeah, gonna stand there, or
A little air guitar, air sax, or I don't know.
Yeah, they have to be entertaining.
yes.
Okay. It's my turn?
Yep.
Okay. So, have you watched the performance in YouTube, the elimination, the audition round? So, I think Judge Josh haven't watched that
Like the round.
Before the competition.
before the
I
competition.
only saw a few clips, to be honest. I didn't see. I didn't see most
but
of it.
you have seen them, right?
I saw some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. What can you say about their evolution? How they evolved from the audition to the elimination performance?
Yes, so I sat down, got comfortable, and I was watching pretty much all of them, and I was making little notes. So on the day, I was really surprised because I was like, okay, this person's going to come. And I'm like, whoa, so much progress. Really, like, very well done because you could see that they have practiced and they've gotten the feedback and they have improved immensely. So, yeah, clapping for them. Very good.
So you did your homework.
I did my homework.
I know. I got like
I
a
was
D
happy.
minus on the homework here. In fairness, I got a little late.
Yeah.
I was asked a little late, but
Yeah.
I only saw a few clips, so to be honest, it's a little hard for me to compare. But I think the difficult thing, and maybe one of the questions later touches on this, but when you can just do one song, man, that makes it just so tough. 'Cause if you
Right.
think about a gig or something, you have a set.
Yes.
So you do like, all right, let's start with something, a ballad, and maybe the ballad doesn't go over. You're like, okay, that's not really hitting. We're gonna go to more upbeat or something. But when it's just one song, it's hard to judge a vocalist, you know.
Yes.
Like if you pick that wrong song, or maybe that day your pipes just aren't hitting that note. So I think it's not surprising to see a vocalist one time when it's just one song, be like, you know, that wasn't that great, and then they come in, you're like, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever heard, because it's just one tune.
Yes.
So I don't know. It makes it challenging. You know, if they could come up here and perform 2 or 3. It would be easier for them, but when it's just one song, you have to pick that perfect song. So
Yeah.
that makes it hard.
How much time did they have between that round and the second one?
Well, I think 2
Like
weeks.
2 to 3
More
weeks,
or
something
less,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So because they have the audition round and then the pre-elimination round and then the elimination round that you've judged on.
And then they can choose. obviously they have to change the song, but it can be
Yeah.
any song. Is that correct? It's not
Yes,
like
yes.
genre specific or.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we will be right back after this break.
Yes, it's gonna be a lot.
This is Jaya, and I'm excited to announce our concert tour is going to be with the incredible Mr. Popert and Mr. Gio. O, diba? Masaya ito. Mark your calendars because we're bringing the house down from November 29th to December 1st, a UAE tour concert. And tickets are available now at www.soulserenadeconcert.ae. See you there.
Real journey begins now. Follow your favorite artists as they push themselves to the limit in the much exciting The Vocalist International UAE. Support them by following, commenting, and sharing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. What are you waiting for? Do it now.
And
Yes.
we're back.
Yes, we're back. So earlier we're speaking about song choices, like because if you only have one song to perform, it's gonna be a challenge, you know. So that boils to the next question: how important is song choice in a competition like this? Can a great song choice compensate for technical weakness? In case that you see a performer that you, well, you know, like first few lines, you can tell already if technique is not that on point. So, do you think that the correct song would, like, you know, somehow validate or what's, I don't know the term for that, but anyway, could it make or break the performance in general?
Yeah, I would say 100%. And usually my recommendation for vocalist is like these kind of things. It's not the time to like reinvent yourself, in my opinion. Anyway, it's like you want to go with kind of what I call like your bread and butter. Like you should hopefully at this point kind of know your strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
Like I would personally, you don't want to try something where you're like, oh, sometimes I can hit this note, but not always, or I'm going to try and do this crazy. Just go with what you know you're really good at, because that conviction will really shine through. So you want to go with a song, preferably that you've been singing a long time, that means something to you, that comes naturally, and I think you'll just be, you know, more confident. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, it could definitely hurt your technical stuff, because, you know, I know for me, like I'm primarily an instrumentalist, and I do sing some, but it's not like my first instrument. It's like when I'm choosing songs, I have to be a lot more careful. Like I know what I can sing and I know what I can't sing.
Yes.
So I'm choosing different certain keys and certain songs and that kind of thing. But on this kind of thing, I would just, for vocalists, kind of figure out what you're good at. You know, sit at home, record yourself, and do what you're comfortable with.
Right.
Well, as a judge, it really pops out when someone chooses a unique song. Like you're sitting, you're watching, and everyone's doing these beautiful power ballads, and all of a sudden someone does like a rock song or like a really catchy pop
Yes.
song. It
So true.
definitely
So true.
captures your attention. You're like, wait, what? So I think it does. I think it does for sure. But at the end of the day, the vocalist needs to be comfortable with the song. Like they
Yes.
need to connect with the song. They need to feel it. It must be in their emotional landscape more than making it a very unique song that maybe they can't do well. So yeah, definitely I would say choosing a song that's not common but they connect to is going to catch people's attention.
Yeah.
Let's say they were choosing a song, they have their own song, and then they recreate the song creatively. How can you say that it is too much? What is too much when they recreate the song?
You mean different arrangement or?
Yeah, how they arrange it, and then how can you say it's too much? It's
Yeah.
over.
I don't think it's too much if they do a great job of it, you know? I mean, if it were me, I would choose a song and I would practice it and I'd see, okay, is this good? And test it out with my friends and family. If they give me the thumbs up, I'm like, okay, it's not too much. But it's probably too much if you don't know what you're doing and you do it last minute and it's just, that would probably be too much.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me is usually conviction. Like if someone,
Yes.
if someone,
Perfect
a
word.
singer just shows up and they're like, you know what, this is usually not sung like a rock song, but I'm gonna sing it like the most rockin' song you've
Yeah.
ever heard. You might be like, that's not gonna sound good, but you can tell. Like if they think it sounds good, it's gonna come off oftentimes as it sounds good.
Right.
So I think the conviction is a big thing. I mean, if you can tell they believe that this is a cool version of it, a lot of times that translates where if they're a little more hesitant, like they're like, I don't know if people are going to like it. And obviously this goes for any instrument, you know, like when you get on that stage, you have to think what you're doing is amazing or else it's not going to, you know, translate as well.
So do you guys think too much is better or too little? If you had to choose between the two. Too much or too little? Because I think too much is better than too little.
Probably. I mean, when it's just one,
It's so subjective.
I
really.
know. I mean, generally, like when I see someone perform, I don't always like to see someone who, you know, just comes naturally.
Yeah.
They don't need to always do crazy high notes. But when it's only one song, yeah, I probably lean towards doing a little bit more because you don't get a second song to, you know, impress us or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that makes it harder. I mean, that's why contests are harder. So yeah, I would say you don't want to do anything that you're unsure of or you're not used to, but maybe err on the side of a little too much.
Yeah.
Okay, before everything else, I want to shout out to 151 viewers. It's just added one right now, and they were so quiet. Please, guys, be interactive. Ask some
Yes.
questions to the judges.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're more than welcome to
You're more than
comment or
welcome to ask the
questions.
judges right now.
Yeah, please.
Because previously you were so active. Now, please be active. Come on. Okay, so Ray, your question, please.
Yeah, my question is, what advice would you give to contestants who are struggling with nerves or stage fright? How do you balance personal tastes with objective judging? I don't know if that's related, but
I would say go through it. I mean, you are going to feel nervous. You are going to have stage fright, and it's okay. It's part of the journey. Just go through it, allow those feelings, and you're going to grow. Whether your heart is like thumping too much or you're cold or whatever, get through it. There's no other way.
nice.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if vocalists could see what it was going to look like ahead of time. Probably not. But as close as you can, try and kind of recreate what it's going to be like. So obviously, if you're going to be standing, try and practice standing. If you can try and, you know, sing in front of a few people, that makes a big difference. And then even little things, like if you're not used to singing with a mic, like try and get a setup at home where you can sing with a mic. Because I know you could tell some singers that were used to it, like they're belting a note and, you know, the mic's coming off, or when it's quiet, it's right up.
Yeah.
But others were clearly not as like in tune with it.
Directly shouting at the mic.
Yeah. It's, you know, it just stayed right here the whole time, which is maybe fine if you're singing quietly. But, you know, even if you don't have a full PA, if you can get a little setup, okay, I'm standing up, even little stuff like trying to wear what you're probably going to wear, like just trying to do everything as close to what you're going to do as you can. Because all of a sudden, if you're wearing something you're not usually, and you're not used to hearing your voice,
Yeah.
like in a PA, that can be weird. Same with any instrument. Like as a guitar player, if I just practice acoustic all the time, then all of a sudden it's going through an amp in the PA.
Yes.
It's kind of like, what is going on? So, you know, to do everything you can you can't create this at home, but, you know, something similar and I mean, and then obviously just practice it a lot. But
Yeah, I was going to say, if you practice a lot, your nerves at some point are going to settle. because you know what you're doing. And in the first, like, let's say 20 seconds, a minute, you might feel a bit fumbly, but you're going to get in the flow and you're going to feel so elated.
Yeah. So you see, guys, there's a lot of good pointers from our judges tonight, and I hope you're taking notes because some of you guys are going to the semifinals.
Maybe that's why they're not active. They're taking notes.
Yeah, that's right. It's just such good advice that that's probably it.
Anyway, speaking of that performance, what is the common mistake that performers do when they're on a stage?
I would say, along with just being nervous, probably rush is the biggest thing I notice. And I think I notice it more because I'm used to accompanying singers. So, like, I'll start playing and you can hear their phrasing is just, like, really pushing the beat. So in this case, like, if I was playing guitar, I could react and maybe try and up the tempo a little bit. But with a backing track, obviously, it is what it is. So along the lines, actually, the last question, I'm sure they are, but make sure you're practicing with the backing track, too, obviously, and with the mic and all that. But yeah, I would say usually when you get nervous, you speed up. Maybe don't pronounce the words as much as you're used to. But speeding up is the biggest thing I notice.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, rushing through it and not allowing yourself to pace the song properly, going up, having the momentum and going down, being too quiet where you should be a bit more loud and too loud. So, but the rushing thing for me would probably be the main thing that I would notice.
Okay. So what about slowing down? No? Only rushing people. Huh?
I don't know. Yeah, it's rare. I don't know. When you're nervous, it's rare. You know, it's the adrenaline.
Yeah.
You get on stage, you know, so it's, I don't know. Usually
so maybe
you're rushing.
If we find some who are like laid back, probably they're too confident, yeah?
Well,
Just kidding.
No, but if they slow down too much, then it's going to look like they have no energy. It's going to find, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to find that perfect balance.
Yeah,
Okay,
as
so-
per my observation last time, there were guys that really like standing on the door. They didn't know if they're going to get in or going to get out to see the performance because they were really uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe seeing them on the stage or maybe hearing the other competitors.
I see.
Performers like not wanting to watch other performers, or?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't know. Did you mean like performers didn't want to stay to watch other performers?
Yeah, something like that. There's like one performer is standing outside and then the other one's standing on the side trying to hear, but he don't want to look.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's like I don't know. Like if I just performed and I went to sit in the audience, I don't want to make it look like I'm sitting there judging. You know, like
I
if I'm the
see.
guitar player on a gig and I played a couple tunes and I sit down, then I'm just,
Yeah.
you don't want to. So maybe that's, I mean, I will say it really seems like I saw a lot of singers encouraging each other and being like, hey, that was amazing, which is awesome. I mean, at the end
So
of the
sweet.
day,
Yeah.
you want to build a community and hopefully some of these singers, you know, will become friends or meet each other or do
Yeah.
different bands and groups. But I don't know. I would think maybe they don't want to make it look like they're sitting there like judging the other singer. That's my guess.
I would also say that maybe a lot of it is unconscious because you have so much adrenaline, you don't know what's
Yeah.
happening. So maybe they're not really aware what they're doing. But when we look at them like, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? But maybe they're just not really aware of what they're doing at the time.
Maybe.
I heard there's one guy who did push-ups. Shout
There's
out
one
to
guy who
him.
did.
That's true.
That's so funny. Pump,
He
pump.
did 20 push-ups before singing on the stage.
I mean,
love
hey,
it.
whatever. I don't know. I'm a little superstitious with performing, so if that helps, I mean, why not?
Yeah. So, guys, we'll still be right back. We'll just have a word from our sponsors.
begins now. Follow your favorite artists as they push themselves to the limit in the much exciting The Vocalist International UAE. Support them by following, commenting, and sharing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. What are you waiting for? Do it now. Kurt.
Yeah.
All right, we're
Back. Okay. What are we going to do?
So we have some questions from the guests, from the viewers.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
one question from Miss Naomi. How should the contestant choose the right song?
It might seem kind of silly, but I would recommend finding a song and performing it like for friends and family and getting feedback. Because I know sometimes as a musician or vocalist, I don't know, in your head you think you know what the most impressive is or what people will like the most. And then you start just focusing on that. But when you just sing it for your friends and family, like they'll know. You can be like, oh, you hear that cool run I did in this and this? They'll just be like, no, like that didn't translate. But you know, if you perform, even, I mean, for musicians and non-musicians, like that kind of feeling that a lot of people feel and can't always explain. So I'd recommend maybe find 3 or 4 songs you're thinking about and try and perform it for friends, family, your pets maybe, if they're good judges. Yeah, and because I think sometimes you know, and other times you're surprised. You know, you might think this song is like the best choice in the world, and they'll be like, yeah. So that'd be my advice.
I would say, see how you're feeling. Like, tune into your own emotional landscape. Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I playful? Tune into yourself. And then based on that, look at your playlist and see which song mirrors how you feel. Because then when you're singing, you're going to convey that. And then practice.
Yeah.
So sometimes, as my personal opinion, like it sounds right in your head, but when you perform it, it's really wrong.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm saying perform it for other people or, I mean, the best thing I did to get better as a musician was record myself. Because they always say, like, recordings don't lie. Because, again, sometimes you perform and you just sometimes it's completely wrong or right, but maybe you think it's really good. But when you play it back, like, that's it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely record yourself. Because that's a big, big help. Not only will you hear certain stuff, but maybe you'll be like, you know what? This just isn't the right song for whatever reason. So that's a big, big help for sure.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was wondering during the past elimination round that we did, what's the most common mistake you think you've seen that the contestants did, if there's any? Yeah.
I think it goes back to what we said earlier, not to rush, you know,
Okay.
pace everything out properly. Don't be too nervous, obviously. Be aware of your stage presence. Be confident, have fun. Like, don't let your nerves get the best of you. But yeah, the rushing thing, with time and tempo, and connect with the crowd as well. That'd be good.
So that's what you think stand out, like the most common mistake, the rushing thing so far?
Actually, to be fair, the contestants did a good job. There was no one that was like, oh my God, slow down or anything. No, I think they did a good job. But just generally, I would say that be aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would pretty much say the same things. One thing I noticed is when the vocalist, I don't know how much was improvised or how much was planned. Like I saw some vocalists who were doing more like soul songs, trying to do some runs, and they just weren't like. It's kind of, the tone was a little too ambiguous, you know. Like if I was transcribing, I couldn't really play it. So I would say, for those kind of runs, to maybe map it out a little bit more. Map it out and then record yourself. Because I think some of them were trying some cool stuff. You know, they're trying to do these cool runs to get up or down from the note, which is great, but they weren't quite worked out enough. So, you know, when it's only one song, you can improvise when you're really, really comfortable with it. But adding those embellishments, at least for me, like that catches my ear if it's spot on.
Yeah.
But if it's not on, it's just like, you know. So if you want to do some more of those soulful kind of runs, I know a few contestants I can think of where it was like almost there. It was almost there, but it could have just been more worked out, is what I'd say.
Okay. Let's say a contestant got eliminated, and what advice can you give them, like how to move forward because they were disappointed? They take the hit.
Don't be disappointed. I mean, be proud of yourself. It takes so much courage, and you've done something beautiful. You've come forward, you've connected with other people in the community, and you're growing. It's not always about winning. It's about being seen. It's about celebrating, sharing space with people. There's no need for disappointment. It's actually just going to put it on the list of things you've done and share it with everyone proudly.
I mean, I think every time you put yourself out there, you're going to learn something. Maybe you learn how to be less nervous next time. Or maybe you learn that this genre wasn't a good song or a good song choice. So, I mean, there's no such thing as failing. If you don't learn anything from it, to me, that's the only time. I don't like using the word failure, but maybe then it's like, okay, what was the point? But whatever you do, if you look back and you're like, yeah, you know, I should have done this better. I could do this better. Then you're growing. And like Shiva said, that's the most important thing is, I mean, musicians, you should always be growing. That you shouldn't be stagnant at any point. And also, like these shows, like they're great judges here, but there's no right or wrong, you know. This is not a basketball game where it's like 90 to 89.
Yeah.
You're like 91. Like that's how it works. Yeah. You know, there's going to be great singers, and it's like you're just going to have to choose one. And honestly, I would be happy to share the stage with a bunch of them, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's not like there's one winner. Exactly. You know, that doesn't mean there's one good singer in the group. There's a ton of good singers. And the only other thing I'd add is to make great music, you don't always have to be the best at what you do. Like there's some singers in bands who are perfect for that band and make amazing music, and I love it. If they came on one of these talent shows, I'm talking about famous people, like they wouldn't win. They wouldn't even probably get that far because they don't have like amazing vocal, you know, capabilities. But there's something about their voice or something about their artistry. So, like these shows are great, but you don't have to be the best singer in the world to make great music. So I would just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay.
So, how do you feel about contestants adding their unique style to a well-known song? Is it a good idea to reinvent classics?
I love it. I love it because, first of all, it's a song that you know, and seeing a different interpretation and a version is very entertaining. Mm-hmm. But it also shows me that they're very creative. Mm-hmm. They're creative, and they're sitting there and they're spending the time like, how can I make this my own? So I really respect that, and I applaud people who do that. They're industrious. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I also personally like it. The only advice I give is like either do it or don't do it. If it's kind of ambiguous to like, they're doing it like the original, but they kind of changed that one part. I don't really know if you messed it up or if you were just trying to, you know, it's a little bit weird. It's like either from the get-go, like set a vibe and be like, no, I'm going to, you know, there's going to be a lot of conviction. I'm going to do the song this way. You've never heard it this way, but like you're going to like it. That's the way it is. Or, you know, like that's great. Or if you can just nail, you know, like if you can sing like Aretha Franklin and nail it, like that's awesome, you know. But, you know, if it's in between, I like it one or the other, is I guess what I'd say.
But again, it would be a good idea to record it and to share it with friends and family and get feedback, just so you know that it's on point.
So in a nutshell, it's just basically if you want to own the song, you have to own the song, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Make it your own. So, guys, you heard from the judges. Anyway, so in this kind of competition, let's say, can a raw talent outshine the technical ones? Those who learn on schools can outshine with the raw talent?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it can. I mean, I think it depends what you're referring to raw talent. I think sometimes that can mean some people who just have a natural connection with the song. That can definitely shine through. Whereas someone who's just technically good, like certainly you can appreciate it, but if you don't feel something from it, then at the end of the day, it's just technical, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I kind of went through, I did the whole music school thing and went through a lot of ups and downs. I actually went through a period where I really didn't like playing music for like several years because it became all technical. Like every song I played, I was analyzing, okay, and this chord and this scale, and I know I played this a little bit at a time and this at a time. And then I'd be so jealous. I'd just see people like playing, well, people don't play on the streets here, but my U.S. example, you know, just people like playing wherever, people playing wherever. Like they weren't thinking that. Like they were just making great music. You know, they were just like feeling it.
They're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So they're like soulfully playing it.
Yeah. I'll give a very brief story. But
Yes.
when I was in music school, so my first 2 years, and I went to like a very competitive jazz school, I really didn't like it. I was spending like 6 or 7 hours a day practicing, trying to be like the best, jazz guitar
Yes.
player of all time. Not happy though. Like I wasn't enjoying it, and honestly, I didn't sound better because I was just all in my head. I was so nervous when I played, and it was just all technical. So after my second year, that summer, like I barely practiced. And the auditions, it's kind of like here, but the juries are super intense. It's kind of like what the singers do here, but
Yeah.
man, like my teachers I would try and crack a joke, nothing. Like they wouldn't go for it. But I went in my third year, and I told them what ensembles I wanted. I asked for like some of the top ensembles. They're like, yeah, that doesn't seem realistic. I was like, that's kind of offensive, but no problem. And then I went in, I was like the least prepared I'd ever been. And I had a great audition, and they put me in like the top ensembles.
Wow.
So like the moral is not to not practice. Like clearly you should practice,
Yeah.
but you just have to be in a good headspace, and like the music, it has to be more than just technical stuff. I guess I think I had a point. I don't know. Yes, that was my point. Yeah. If it's just if everything's just technical, it's not what it's all about. That's part of it. But we want to hear singers where you're feeling something with the song.
Great story.
Oh, thank you. I made it all up.
So, no opinion, Shiva?
I mean, there's no set formula in my opinion. If you're very technically skilled, or if you have raw talent, if you're a good singer, you're a good singer, and you're on that stage, people are going to connect with you. I don't think that you have to go to music school or you have to take vocal lessons. Maybe some people are just naturally talented singers, and yeah, they can just go on stage and blow your socks off with their voice. And I think that's a possibility. Raw talent can do its trick.
Okay, sorry?
Yep. So I have another question. What impact do you think a competition like this has on a singer's future career, whether they win or not?
Well, I mean, the first thing is they create a lot of connections. So they meet fellow musicians, they meet people who are in the industry, people who play instruments, and also exposure. You
Yes.
get all this exposure, it builds your confidence, it adds to your experience. So it's a very enriching thing, and I'm so glad that people are participating in this because it's only going to augment their journey as singers.
Yeah, and I would just, like, obviously you entered. There's a lot of good singers who probably think they at least have a chance to win, which is great. But, obviously when there's only one winner, it doesn't mean there's, like, that many losers, I mean, it's very difficult, borderline impossible to really judge these shows because there are subjective things, and that's just the way it is with music. I mean, we have categories, which is very helpful. It's a combination of technical and like creativity, so it does make it a little bit more fair. But I would say you're gonna just learn individually. Like you'll get better from this, and you shouldn't worry. Like, yeah, try and win, but you shouldn't really worry about what place you get in. You should go more in the mindset of like, I want to do this. This will be good for me. I'm going to get better as a musician. Certainly connect with different musicians. And also for those that stick around, maybe see some other performers where you get some ideas from song choices, even stuff they do for stage presence. Like some of the outfits and stuff were awesome. Just stuff like that. So, go ahead.
I think singers should take every opportunity they can to sing. Whether it's a small thing, a big thing, with your friends, your family, every opportunity to sing, you sing, because that's what you do. The more you do it, the better you get, the more confident you get. And it's definitely not about winning. It's about being seen, being celebrated, and connecting with other people.
Right. So I would like to just shout out the 162 live viewers, and I'm seeing some vocalist contestants watching who are in my friends list, and I can see you guys.
Hi, guys.
And you're not commenting. Yeah, we have one. I think this is one question.
Oh, there's one more?
Yeah. So
Okay, you do it.
I'm just gonna ask this. Usually, we all have a certain genre of music we like. How do you remove the bias when judging a performer singing a different genre as yours?
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I would assume you don't really know what genre the judges like for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some of them it kind of says in the bio. But I would go back. I mean, just personally, like I listen to a very large range of stuff. I think it's impossible to have no bias
Yes.
So like I didn't know most of the songs from the last one, but you know, you hear a song you like, you're like, oh yeah, this is my jam. Like Whitney Houston's awesome,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. But from what I said earlier, I think the conviction is more important than the genre or song choice. You know, like I can go, I don't know, I'm not really that into metal or something, but if I go hear a band that's like, man, they want to do metal and they do it like so amazingly well, I'll be like, oh, that was a great performance. You know, so I my advice would be I wouldn't really think about it. I would just try and do the best performance you can. Is there a little bit of bias with the judging? God, it's hard to say. I mean, there's probably always a little bit of bias.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I can at least personally say, like, I just appreciate a really good performance. I don't really care if I like the song or not, just from like a songwriting perspective.
Well, it goes back to what we said. I mean, song choice definitely makes a difference. If you choose something that's unique and different, the judges will be like, ooh. But at the end of the day, you're going to connect with the singer emotionally. If they love that song, you're going to connect with them. And if they sing it well, you're going to connect with them. And like you, I have a very diverse like a taste in music. So I'm very open to all these different genres. So for me, it's not like, oh, I don't like this genre. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy different variety. And your singers, the vocalists were.
Yeah, I would say just real quickly, don't be afraid to... like there's a lot of like ballads, for example, which is great, and that shows off your voice. Like it makes sense. A ballad's a good choice. But there were a few that chose more like an alternative rock or something like that. And I remember being like, oh man, I think that's cool. Like and it had a vibe. Like you could tell that was kind of their thing. So I wouldn't not pick a song just because of the genre. If you think that's where you shine the most, even if it's not as popular with the other contestants do, I would advise to stick with that song.
I want to add one more thing. If you do choose like a more rock, vibey song, it gives you more room to be jumpy and entertaining. Whereas if you go with like the sad songs, there's a little bit of a limitation of how you can have that stage presence.
You're
something
having
to
more
keep in mind.
energy with the rock.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah, we'll have more before we end, and we'll be right back.
We're going to break the tradition of making the guests sing because they don't sing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Josh thinks.
Yeah. So we'll be right.
We'll
back.
be right back.
Real journey begins now. Follow your favorite artists as they push themselves to the limit in the much exciting The Vocalist International UAE. Support them by following, commenting, and sharing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. What are you waiting for? Do it now.
that was very fun talking about. I don't want to say judgment, but something like that. And you see, we get great tips from our judges tonight, and maybe some pointers you could consider on your next performances. And right now, we'll ask them if they have anything they would like to promote. Yeah, Shiva?
So if any of you guys would like to record music, Barco Studio is at your service. We are located in Mohammed bin Zayed, and we have full facilities to record music, all genres, all kinds, and you're very welcome.
I think Josh is a guitar teacher or tutor, so
Yeah, I'll give another shout out to Barco because I've been there and they're awesome. And Joel's over there and they're good people over
Hi,
there.
Joel.
shout out to Joel.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Joel.
so if you want to record, they're great. Yeah, I'm new to town, so if you want to follow me, it's Shy-Fi Productions. That's SHEIFI. I'm starting to get a lot more projects underway, so new stuff soon.
Yes.
I'm meeting a lot of cool people and a lot of collaboration. I'm also a teacher, so if you like lessons or anything like that, feel free to reach out. And to all the contestants, just keep doing what you're doing. Congrats on a great job. I mean, the performances were awesome, and they're just going to get better and better. And yeah, if I leave you with any advice, just be bold, especially when it's one song. You know, leave it all on the table. You know, conviction, practice it, and it'll be great. And thanks for having me.
Do you have like a final advice to the contestants?
I think Josh made his.
Final advice.
Yeah.
Don't do this because you want to win only. Do it because you love singing. Have fun with it. Don't put expectations on yourself. Just really enjoy. Because if you're a singer, you just want to sing any chance you get. And just keep at it. Enjoy the journey.
Okay. Well said. And now it's time for me to speak. Okay. Okay, we'd like to thank our sponsors, JRX Express Global, Hot Palayok, and Flower Lane by Brand. Also, we would like to thank our silver sponsors, Nicer, and gold sponsor, iFern, Luxurist CMB, and also our partner, Busive, Barco Studio, and co-producer Mag Events Management, and also ProXperts.
All right.
Not too
So-
much messed up.
So that's it. So thank you for staying, and we hope to see you again on the next episode of the Vocalist Talks.
Yeah, we hope that you get a lot of tips right now. And I didn't mess up everything. Normally,
I thought you did very well.
Great.
It was
yeah,
good.
yeah.
You were
Normally,
amazing.
I'm goofing around.
Yeah.
I'll give you my judge notes after, but they're good. The very the interpretation
10 out
is
of
very
10.
good.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Okay.
good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Bye.